Fight Club. It is Wednesday, and you know what that means. We got ourselves a brand new episode of the Byte That Wrestling Podcast, the 185th episode, as a matter of fact. Thank you for tuning in and checking out the show. We are available every single Wednesday night talking about the latest happenings inside of the WWE. WWE Fastlane happened this Sunday. A lot of people, ourselves included, were left feeling a little bit disappointed. So we're going to have a bit of a discussion as the card for WrestleMania, the ultimate thrill ride, is taking shape. Are we hyped? Are we not? Find that out in just a couple of seconds. We also want to give a lovely, awesome shout out to our supporters over at patreon.com/bythat, including people such as Matthew Zoller and Bo Segrist. Remember, you can enjoy a Patreon exclusive pre-show. This week we talked a little bit about the Switch and some other fun stuff, and a raw and uncut video version of the podcast. Do you want to hear me mess up? Do you just want to see Keith for a little while? Go over to patreon.com/bythat for all of that information. My name is Juan Velas. I am from San Juan, Puerto Rico, and changing things up, we got Keith Poshek from Boston, Massachusetts, Ryan McNulty from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. You guys moved.
Did I move?
If you guys moved,
really?
What's that old
Ryan?
TV show
like Trading Places?
Yeah.
Or
are we on Wife
Would you
Swap?
be okay with that?
With
like
no
Ryan,
wives?
if I just told you got to move to Canada right now, you're gonna get a similar job. We're just changing things up. Boston's not working out too much for you. Would you do it?
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
Keith
I don't blame you,
tells me
buddy.
about minus 40 degrees over there. Hell no.
Yeah, the wind was so bad here last night because my apartment building is basically a giant wind tunnel. It kept me up all night, the freaking wind, because it was just like shh all night. That was probably a terrible sound in your earbuds. I'm sorry, but it's just I love my little mountain town, but I hate it so much.
Weather over here has been crazy in Puerto Rico. I almost tweeted something, but then I thought Keith would tell me to go something myself because it was getting really
right
cold.
Now.
It was really cold for me.
I don't even know what you're going to say.
Yeah, it was really cold for me. I look and it was 70. It was 70. That to me is cold.
Go something yourself.
I live in the shining star of the Caribbean, guys, okay? So keep in mind, culture is always a little bit different, but one thing that does not change is that every couple of Sundays, we get ourselves a pay-per-view on the WWE Network. Fastlane happened. You can enjoy a full review performed by our very own Ryan McNulty up on the YouTube channel, as well as vid.me/bythat. Overall, I think most people are left with questions, and not necessarily like the anticlimactic or the, oh my God, what's going to happen Monday? It was more of, why? Why are these things happening? So rather than just give quick reactions, what would you say was the biggest question you came out of Fastlane in maybe not such a good way?
Why do I continue to watch the red brand? I guess would be the biggest why, but I think the way that you summed it up is perfectly of just why. It was a pay-per-view that didn't feel good at all. There's a couple of good matches, but it just wasn't a very fun watching experience.
Yeah, it really just kind of felt unnecessary, whereas like Elimination Chamber felt like it just had more going for it for SmackDown as their last pay-per-view. It also helped that it was a little bit further away from WrestleMania. It's very rarely that we ever get a pay-per-view that actually takes place in the month of March.
And we see why.
Yeah, unless it's WrestleMania and they're doing it like super late in March. This show, even though, like I said, it's weird because you can look at it. I said in the review that 3 big things did technically happen, but none of it felt big. And I think that's the biggest problem with the show. I mean, Goldberg wins the Universal title. Braun Strowman gets pinned for the very first time. And thank God Charlotte's dumb pay-per-view streak is finally over and we can all move on from that. Yet,
Ryan,
none of it landed.
15 minutes. You said the match between Goldberg and Owens will last at least 15 minutes. And for all the crap that you guys have given me historically about the Kevin Owens and Bray Wyatt storyline, it was like 20 what? 21 point
I think it was
something?
21. I think I timed it out at 21.75 seconds, that match.
I should have included entrances, because you know what? I would have had a chance.
Even then.
Because
I even gave you that opportunity, because we were talking during the pay-per-view and I said, does the timer start at the bell? And you're like, yup, at the bell.
I still don't even think I would have hit, even if you included entrances. But when Kevin Owens was stalling outside the ring, I was like, why couldn't they have just rung the bell and then he did all that? It would have helped my case a little bit.
So we still got basically the match that I wanted to happen. It just didn't happen during the match. It happened all before, which was Kevin Owens getting to Goldberg's head. We got Jericho showing up, so then we'll lump that up a little bit on the Raw talk. But now getting to the Charlotte pay-per-view streak coming to an end, that was the other thing that we were thinking, there's no way this can happen right now. Either it was going to be DQ or Charlotte was just going to get the championship back, because it's Fastlane. We're just around the corner at WrestleMania. Now, yeah, it was a weird finish. But how did you feel about that also happening?
That whole thing was dumb. That whole finish, I'm still not a big fan of that. It ended at Fastlane, that her undefeated streak. I kind of saw it coming when they mentioned at the beginning of the match, where it's like, oh, this is our Charlotte's 16th consecutive pay-per-view or whatever. Like, oh, okay, there's that big 16 number. There's a good chance it'll happen there. But that whole end of that match was just a giant cluster muck, as Stone Cold Steve Austin likes to say, and that was a poor way to end that streak.
Yeah, that was probably one of the worst finishes I've seen in a long time, because a lot of it didn't make any sense. First of all, I feel like Sasha probably should have caused the DQ, considering she did put her hands on Charlotte. Although I can't remember if an actual strike took place, and that's kind of like the little gray area that they can use.
But people have been DQ'd for less.
Yeah, no, for sure. And like I said, I talked about it in the review as well, where Sasha's not even supposed to be involved in this match, and then the referee's doing the pin count, and she points to the hand on the tights, right? And the ref stops count, gets up, and looks around to see if the tights have been pulled. And I like I said before, what happens if she wasn't pulling the tights? She just lost out on a pin count.
You just lost the whole match.
Typically you'll see,
that's interfering in a match. You are interfering with the referee's
totally
count.
Is. And a lot of times we will see someone on the outside will be like, hey, look, the foot's on the rope, right? But at least the referee can see from his current position and stop the count, because he's doing the count, but he doesn't have to move to be able to see the foot on the ropes, and then he can break it. Whereas this dude gets up, waltzes around, to see, it was completely ridiculous. Doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, it really doesn't. I think that overall, it went back to my topic of WrestleMania is not for us, it's for maybe the casual crowd. So if you notice, they did many of the things that we thought they were going to do WrestleMania beforehand, and they may be happening afterwards, which sucks, because you want to have something to walk out of WrestleMania, be it like the 18 seconds from Daniel Bryan, which now we have 21 seconds with Kevin Owens, or something like that. But now, folks, we are going to get to your poll results on Twitter every single week. Byte That Cast. We ask you what you thought about Raw, what you thought about SmackDown. First, getting to Raw. Interesting poll results. We saw the majority gave it a 2 out of 4, 40% at meh. Now, 20% of the people gave it a 4 out of 4, a strong woof. Because we had the big dog on Raw. So it is a strong
woof.
I love writing that. Way more than I probably should have.
Wait, what was woof?
We have a lot of integrity with this poll.
Was woof
okay, so what? Yeah, what?
Please break down the bark.
Okay. So the bark system was this week. It was 1 was bad dog, 2 was meh, 3 was good boy, and 4 was a strong wolf.
But my problem with this scale is that you didn't go all the way with it. You have 3 out of 4 of them with the dogs, then you just have meh. Why not make it like or something like that?
Because it's not even worth it. It's so meh. It's not even worth doing a dog reference. Now for
then
SmackDown,
that too?
But
it's what happened. It's what happened with SmackDown. We did the traditional poll, though.
We need to go back to the drawing board with our bark scale. Here is what we're getting at.
Fine, I'll send you some treats, and then you're gonna be happy about that. With SmackDown, though, 70% of people gave it a 4 out of 4. So very strong poll results. Thank you guys so much. Every single week, we progressively get more people voting on the polls. And this really does give us a really strong way to know what you guys are thinking about, the WWE product. Overall, I think that SmackDown was the stronger show of the two. Although, I'm not feeling the WrestleMania vibe. We have no more pay-per-views between now and WrestleMania. So what we see is what we have. And instead of just talking a little bit overall, a lot did happen this week, whether it was good or bad. Some of it was awesome, no pun intended, kinda. Actually, it pretty much was intentional, but let's just get to it right now. First up, it's happening. So with Roman Reigns, we got the loss to Strowman at Fastlane. So give me just first your...
You mean he beat Strowman?
Yeah, What are you talking about?
He beat Strowman. You said that wrong.
You said the loss.
I said that wrong?
You said the loss to Strowman.
Oh, okay. I'm getting my words mixed up. So Roman Reigns conquered the Stro.
That damn bark system.
Yeah, that bark system threw me off. So that happened. Give me your super quick reaction about that.
Up until Raw, I was okay with it because Braun had a good performance.
Yeah, I thought the match was fine. I would have liked to have seen Strowman's streak go a little bit longer, but I kind of expected it, so I wasn't that disappointed. Like I said before in the review, I feel like any other person beating Strowman would have been huge for whoever did it, but it's just kind of expected with Roman, so it doesn't make me go, oh wow, Roman's so strong. I'm just like, yeah, Roman's kind of getting all the good stuff, so it's whatever.
Yeah, I have to agree. It's just a shame that, of course, Roman Reigns would conquer Strowman, and then what we got at Raw. So then we have the Strowman Reigns face-off, and then the gong happens, which we thought would happen at Fastlane, but then Strowman was still in the ring, so I'm thinking to myself, what's going to happen here? It's got to be Strowman and then Taker, but that's weird because he just lost. Reigns hasn't really come out yet during the segment. So then Strowman just casually, he doesn't even walk off. He walks off to the crowd, which is like the most cowardly thing. You're the monster among men. Now, I didn't know he wanted to take that literally and be among the men in the crowd, but this just made him look out to be just an idiot. Like, not only did you just lose the night before, you're about to call your opponent out, then Taker comes out, and it's just like, okay, man, you know what? You can get the match at Mania. Apparently, I don't care about anything. You're Braun Strowman. If anything, you should immediately punch The Undertaker. And then Roman Reigns comes out, so I'm still thinking about Strowman just having walked off. And then this match happens, and you can even tell the crowd was confused because... Is it a triple threat? Why could they not just do something between Reigns, Strowman, get that over with, and then you do the Undertaker Reigns thing? This was very confusing.
The minute that Strowman took to walk off away from the Undertaker was so much more damaging than any loss could have been for Braun, because it made him look like a wuss. Because at least when it came to the Fastlane loss, he still looked good. He gave Roman a hell of a fight. They played it off like he made one rookie mistake, and that's what cost Roman the match. But he just straight up chickened out of a fight with the Undertaker. This is a guy that, like Juan mentioned, is supposed to be the monster among men. Just back down from a 50-year-old man. It's so bad. And what was the point of Braun even coming out there? Like, you could have worked that whole setup so differently, where Roman comes out first and hey, Braun, I heard you challenged me to a fight. Why don't you come out here? And then the gong happens.
Know. You lost the match at Fastlane, so why would you be the one to battle Taker? Right?
Yeah. Like, because I was sitting in the exact same position. Like, are they gonna do Braun Strowman against the Undertaker? That seems weird. And then they do something way worse.
Yeah, individually, I think the loss at Fastlane and this wouldn't be so damaging. But the fact that these happened back to back, one night he loses, the next night he's backing away from the Undertaker. It's like, what did we just spend the last 6 months doing? And now Strowman is just this wuss who loses and then runs away scared from a 50-year-old man. There was so many other ways they could have done this. Even if it was like Strowman gets like a few hits in and then Taker just kind of dumps him out the ring, like he just throws him over the rope or something, and then Strowman just cuts his losses and then walks away. I'd be like, okay, fine. Just like him straight up backing out, it goes against everything he's done. He's always stood up to any person who came in his way, and it's not like Undertaker needs to look any stronger. We know what the Undertaker is.
It's overall really unfortunate this happened. It leads to the question of what happens, because I don't think there's any way we're going to get a triple threat match. But with Strowman just walking off, you got to think that they have something for him. Because
the battle
I
royal
would like
with you,
to assume,
Strowman. That's exactly.
But just think about how do you go from walking out to a closing of Raw with the Undertaker to just going, well, I'm going to the armbar because I walked off and I'm just going to be in this match with Apollo Crews and everybody else. It just doesn't make sense to me. But sense a lot of times just does not apply.
He's going there,
to wrestling.
But he'll probably win it at least.
He has to win it. If that happens, he has to win it. Up next, the other thing that happened on Raw, we can sort of lump up the women's division on SmackDown because we were talking about this last week, which was what's going to happen at WrestleMania with the women. Is it going to be a one-on-one bout? We were saying, like I think it was you, Ryan, you've said on multiple occasions, it cannot be a triple threat. They can't possibly do what they already did. So they kind of, I guess, changed it up a little bit. So it's going to be Bayley, Charlotte, and then Sasha at WrestleMania, which is a weird choice because then you've had Nia Jax be involved somewhere in there, and now she's taken out. I don't know if maybe they're going to do the Fatal 4-Way part, but then you go to SmackDown, and they just say the whole roster against you. All the women in the world against Alexa Bliss, basically. So I don't think they're going to add even more women to the Raw part. Are you guys happy that it seems like the two big woman matches are going to be multi-woman?
There's no feud that seems compelling enough for a one-on-one match. They already kind of blew the whole Sasha Charlotte thing, and they just did the Bayley Charlotte thing, so a rematch would seem kind of weird. And I just don't think Nia's at the point where it makes sense for her to do a one-on-one title match at WrestleMania. So honestly, you just take the three most popular females throughout the year with Bayley, Charlotte, and Sasha. And that's probably the best you can do, honestly, with how things were set up. I just think the big feuds kind of ended before Mania, so this is your best option.
Yeah, if you want to talk about people that have had a bad week as far as character strength, Nia Jax, who has it been a rough one for her. But yeah, I have to agree with what Ryan said. I don't think that there's a strong enough one-on-one possibility outside of Charlotte versus Sasha that you could do a one-on-one WrestleMania main event or like women's title match for main event.
And that's just been
thing.
too overdone at this point to do.
Yeah, it's been beaten to death. So you might as well just do a triple threat match, I guess, which is weird in itself because it's basically last year's match just replace Becky Lynch with Bayley.
It's just funny because the one thing I started thinking of is put on your thinking caps on. What if you had delayed all the things that happened between Sasha and Flair to around this point? Because that all happened a couple of months ago.
Oh, wait, are you talking Ric Flair? Or just, did you refer to
Charlotte Flair.
You just referred to Charlotte as Flair? That's just weird.
That really threw me off.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ric Flair's coming in, going into the women's division.
Winning the women's championship.
You didn't say Banks and Flair.
I apologize. Sasha
Let's
and
talk
Charlotte.
about Jax, Flair, and Banks.
But how different would that
And
have
Brooke.
been? Because just thinking about not AJ Brooke, but just thinking about that, how all of these things that we even said, like you're just throwing these matches out, like Hell in a Cell, all of that stuff. Imagine if at WrestleMania, instead of Triple H versus The Undertaker Hell in a Cell, we would have gotten Sasha Banks versus Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. And that would have been something, man. It wouldn't just be a good women's match. It would have been, we don't have a lot of specialty matches at WrestleMania because it's WrestleMania, but one of them is delivered based on a storyline that makes sense for it at the grandest stage of them all.
I mean, we even said it back then where that whole feud was just kind of doing things for the sake of doing it. And we're kind of feeling kind of repercussions from that now where they just did everything. So what is there left to do? And yeah, maybe they should have saved some of it for now, because now you're in this situation where nothing really feels special anymore because it's a step down from how hard they were pushing the momentum then.
Yeah, I think you can look at a number of reasons to why this is happening the way it is. And specifically, the brand split really did make it difficult to keep things fresh in the women's division, especially on Raw. So you kind of can look at WrestleMania as, hey, they always do want to try and get as many people on the card as possible. And the women had one of the best years ever this year. So it's kind of nice that we're rewarding most of the women by having...
Don't die on us, man. Don't die on us.
Yeah, please.
It's just, I'm getting a little emotional.
Don't leave me with him.
You're rewarding a lot of the women by putting them in a title match on both sides.
So I realize this is probably placed like horribly because now I got to talk about Austin Aries' package. So Austin Aries, man.
Talk about Austin Aries' package.
Real talk.
Just before you go into that,
What?
we
I'm
didn't really
scared.
talk about it on the Fastlane section, but the cruiserweights killed it at Fastlane.
Yeah, man.
For all the bad things we said about the pay-per-view itself, Neville and Jack Gallagher had an incredible match.
Match of the night.
No, I wanted to include that in this Aries package because the best thing about Fastlane was that cruiserweight match was the match of the night, and I believe Ryan said that had the potential to be it. And Austin Aries, man, like just Austin Aries' involvement was awesome. Plus, like for all the crap or all the hey, the cruiserweights feel so secondary. Props to WWE for giving them a spotlight on Raw between Neville and Austin Aries. That is the crowd you do it. Rather like Chicago is the Riley crowd, CM Punk chants and all that aside. They reacted to the one superstar they needed to make look like a star. And Austin Aries, like the interaction between like the glasses, taking him off. And before that, the crowd is already behind him and he looks at them and then Neville's just pissed off. And even Aries, he turned the what chant as part of his promo. Like, I don't know if people can hear me very well, but they think he actually turned that into a segue as to what he was going to say. And then he had a great match at 205 Live. So Austin Aries officially gone from NXT. And I think that this is it. Like he and alongside Neville and Gentleman Jack Gallagher, those three guys can really do something special with 205 Live.
Well, your cruiserweight division suddenly looks a lot better when you're looking at a match like Austin Aries versus Neville. Now it's like, now we're talking, you know? And yeah, Jack Gallagher is a guy who just came in and this guy's he's just caught on immediately. And that's been pretty awesome to see. And it was great to see that, like his performance, you know, he did so well at Fastlane that it's very promising. The cruiserweight division has really turned around since Neville's come in.
Agreed. And man, I hope that Neville versus Austin Aries match is what we're going towards for WrestleMania.
Yes.
That is a one-on-one match is so exciting, and just keep people like Gallagher and Tozawa just at that. We talked about it a bit last week, where there's that step below on the cruiserweight division that's missing below the title picture. Take people like Gallagher and Tozawa and put them there and have them ready for the end of that feud, and it will be perfect. But man, I want that match so bad. If there's one match I don't want to be a multi-person match on the WrestleMania card, it's the Cruiserweight Championship match.
Yeah, because then it's all about, hey, look at these guys fly all over the ring.
Look at all the flippy stuff.
No, man, like what should matter?
There might be like a pre-show Cruiserweight Battle Royal or something.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
But for the title, I should specify, I don't want the Cruiserweight title match to be a multi-man.
And it looks like they would go, I don't think they would do this Aries Neville thing unless it was going to be a one-on-one Mania match with, I mean, that's going to be pretty sweet for Austin Aries, right? If it ends up being his first main roster pay-per-view is WrestleMania.
Well, think about even for Neville, like Neville, it's easy to forget. He was supposed to be in that Intercontinental title match last year. He got taken off of Mania to go into next year's Mania as champion, as Cruiserweight champion. That's real cool for Neville.
So Cruiserweights, you're doing awesome, thankfully. To the point where last night I watched Smackdown Live. I watched 205 Live, not Talking Smack. I caught that later, which is what we're going to be talking about right now, because Talking Smack, man, I talked about how much I was looking forward to, maybe not the match, but just the storyline between The Miz, Maurice, John Cena, and Nikki Bella. And The Miz can be on Talking Smack every week for all I care, because the man knocked it out of the park there. The man knocked it out of the park on SmackDown Live. Even like poking fun at some rumors that have historically come out, like, hey, John Cena stole Nikki Bella from Dolph Ziggler. Oh, but wait, there's
even
more.
Brought a Tommy Dreamer reference
Tommy
out
Dreamer,
there.
man. You know you're good when you get Tommy Dreamer over on Talking Smack, and you do awesome stuff like that. Like, this is what we need. It's kind of funny. Like before the show, I think that you were telling us, Keith, on our chat here, that this is basically the equivalent or going around the Rock and John Cena storyline, where now The Miz is in John Cena's spot and John Cena's in the Rock spot. But what I like now is that these are two guys that are still involved. Like, even if John Cena goes away for a while, he can still go in the ring. And when he comes back, he's involved. The Rock, however, he was kind of there, but not really. So we're getting a much better version of that rivalry. And I'm happy. I am happy about that. What about you guys?
Agreed. It's hard to hate The Miz on this one because he's not saying anything that's not true. It's very much like a condensed version of John Cena versus The Rock leading up to WrestleMania 28, where Cena didn't say anything that wasn't factual about The Rock. Like, he would go away, he was this people's champ, but he barely showed up for the people. And Miz is kind of saying the same thing about Cena, where, oh, you think you can do whatever you want, you can show up whenever you want. And my favorite part of Talking Smack, where he's like, oh, put me on SmackDown so I could go away, but don't put me on first because then I have to be here. And that's kind of exactly what happened. And just an interesting take on that. And I love the build-up for this match. All that being said, I'm still not sold on the match. I can't wait to see where they go leading up to WrestleMania. But the match itself, I'm still not feeling it. The Miz is doing great things, but even last week I mentioned how hyped I was for like John Cena and Nikki Bella versus James Ellsworth and Carmella. The second that John Cena and Nikki Bella started doing their stick in the ring, it just deflated me again on this whole match. And if that's what the match is going to be at WrestleMania, I just want none of it. But the build-up is pretty good.
Yeah, the build-up has been amazing. So let's enjoy the ride for what it is. The match itself, I don't think is going to be anything to write home about, but it'll be a cool little thing, and it's good for Nikki Bella and Maurice to be involved in this match. I mean, it's going to be a high-profile match, and they will be highlighted in it along with The Miz and John Cena. So I think this is all good, and this match isn't for us, but the build-up can be, because it's really fun.
Yeah, it pleases everybody. We get the whole thing of, if you don't like John Cena, you're going to love The Miz going into this. And if you like John Cena, then you're going to hate The Miz. So you get
it
invested
gives
in
like
the
Total
storyline.
Divas fans or Total Bellas fans a reason to tune in. They get to see John Cena and Nikki Bella tag together, which is never, it's like the first time ever.
And I think that's where I personally get lost on it. That's like the biggest stumbling point for me, because especially during that match with Carmella and Ellsworth, I can just see the Total Divas or Total Bellas clips happening before my eyes.
And the storylines they're building around it.
Yeah, like, those montages of the matches that they show in that show of like, oh, here's somebody doing a move, and then they play to the camera. I could just see that just blatantly in the entire match.
I wanted to see Ellsworth pin Cena so badly.
You also wanted a 15-minute Goldberg match, Ron.
I know. Maybe you're just asking too much.
Yeah, you're benched this week from things like that.
But you knew it was possible. When Miz was coming out, you were like,
no, it wasn't.
There is a possibility.
No, it wasn't.
So Styles versus Orton. First up, I think everybody can agree it was a great match. It's what happens
Once again, remember when I was like, oh, they're totally going to save this match for like SummerSlam.
And we said that
LOL.
last week, and then it was like 2 days after.
I'm off the mark a lot lately.
By 2 days. You're off by like 2 or 3 days. People start getting Ryan's words on a piece of paper and bet. You don't actually have to bet, but at least you'll sound smart. Because Ryan, he knows the stuff. Renee Young almost left WWE once, and AJ got pregnant. So he knows what he's talking about.
Yep. Because that happened.
So basically, AJ Styles lost the match. It was a really great match, solid match. Randy, I love that spot right there at the end where it seems like obviously he's going to do
that
the
finish
phenomenal
was so
RKO.
good.
Yeah, man.
Because I personally got just like hook, line, and sinker into that. Like, of course, that's how they're going to end this match. And then they completely swerve it. I loved it.
Because you knew this match was like, it's a 15-minute kind of end of SmackDown match. So it was a nice like preview. Like, this is what these guys can do. Like, when they are on, it's going to be like the smoothest match ever. But you could tell they didn't want to give away the store, because there's going to be a feud eventually.
Yeah, it's just tricky right now, because when you look at Raw, Kevin Owens basically said, hey, I know I have my rematch clause. I'm going to get to that at a later date. Right now I want to focus on Jericho and take his title, which is weird because nobody talks about the U.S. title yet. Magically now makes sense. I'll just accept that. But now on the SmackDown side, I am very happy that Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt is going to happen for the championship. I don't think it's going to be treated as one of the top matches, and the reason being is that after this happened, AJ Styles went to the gorilla position, stormed off, and was yelling at Shane McMahon. You already saw the WrestleMania poster out there, which does feature Shane McMahon in his wrestling clothing. And this happened, which, we can all but basically predict that we are going to get Shane versus AJ at WrestleMania. Our hype level was really not there when we first talked about it, although a lot of people are excited. Now that you see the writing on the wall and the little things that have been happening, do you feel different about it?
If there was one person in the company that I could get behind having a solid match with a broomstick, it would be AJ Styles. AJ Styles could probably have an incredible match with anybody, so I have no doubt that it'll be a good match, but is that what I want to see AJ do at WrestleMania? Not really. Shane McMahon is always a fun match, but AJ could be doing something better, I guess.
Yeah, that's the thing is, I wouldn't be against this pretty much anywhere else, any other time of the year. It just doesn't seem appropriate that AJ versus Shane is a match at WrestleMania. Shane McMahon, I love the guy, but I don't need to see him wrestle anymore. It was fun, but when it's taking another match potential from AJ, that's where it's kind of a disappointment. That being said, I'm willing to give it a chance. I'm happy that AJ Styles is going to have a singles match at WrestleMania, and it may not seem high profile to us, but I think in the eyes of people running WWE, I think they view it as a high profile match. I think, Vince McMahon is putting his son against you, then I think he thinks pretty highly of you. So this can really only mean good things in the future for AJ. And plus, damn, that gorilla position area, I didn't realize that they decked it out so fancy with the WWE logo and all of that. And it was weird to see, like, I guess Michael Cole shows up to Smackdown. I didn't know that.
Right?
Yeah,
he's one of the producers for like commentary and all that.
Yeah,
so
it's not often you see that area, so that I thought that was kind of cool, and it made it
smart.
feel
It made
more.
it look, yeah,
it made it feel more authentic.
We had a moment there, Ryan. We had a moment there. Thank you.
Indeed.
Thank you.
And I should say that I am willing to give this match a shot, absolutely, but I'm with you, Ryan, where I don't need to see Shane McMahon in any one-on-one matches. Like, I go back to thinking about the Survivor Series match and how that's kind of the perfect platform for a Shane McMahon, because Shane McMahon,
but even then,
at the end of the day,
Baron Corbin's spot. I think we all would have rather seen Corbin there.
That's true, but like, that aside, Shane McMahon is an exciting wrestler. He's entertaining. He's spot monkey would be a word that I would use for Shane McMahon, where he's good for great doing those amazing moments like the coast to coast or jumping off the Hell in a Cell. Shane is really good for that, but going like a 15-minute match with somebody that's gone against people like Dean Ambrose and John Cena all year long, it's just tough to really buy that. Shane, like a multi-man match where Shane McMahon can get in, do his amazing stuff, and get out.
Those
perfect
punches.
Platform. Those, and just avoid the punches, Shano.
See, here's the thing. I get what you guys are saying, and I'm not saying you're wrong, but you're not right. And here's why. We just talked about John Cena and The Miz, how that match is perfect for Total Bellas, Total Divas. This match is not for us as well. This match is for example, one of my close friends. He had never seen AJ before the Rumble. So I talked about, you got to watch this match with Chris Daniels and Samoa Joe. Who are Chris Daniels and Samoa Joe? Shane McMahon last year jumped off a Hell in a Cell. People know Shane does crazy stuff. Hey, Shane McMahon's going to be wrestling this year at WrestleMania. Who against? AJ Styles. Who's that guy? This is meant for those people that are going into watching WrestleMania because they watch maybe your SummerSlam, your WrestleMania, your occasional Raw when a legend comes back, and now the eyeballs are going to be on AJ. Now, whether the match is good or not is a whole different story, and I think we need to have a realistic expectation of what we can expect in this match. Then again, it would be like 2 years in a row where AJ doesn't have that great of a match at Mania, because that Jericho match was not really that great, plus he lost. And that may probably happen this year again. So AJ may be 0-2.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter.
I refuse.
Well,
think about that.
Juan is right, though. We have to look at WrestleMania through a different lens. It's all about spectacle, and it's spectacle over substance.
Ultimate thrill ride. Ultimate.
Yeah,
get that in your
commercial
head.
was terrible, by the way.
Oh yeah.
It's all about spectacle, and this is essentially a sales pitch. WrestleMania is a sales pitch to non-wrestling fans. It'd be kind of fun though to run down the card quick and be like, is this match for us or not for us? And I mean, we can look at Neville versus Austin Aries. There's a match for us, right? That's a match for us. So,
so we're really going to enjoy the pre-show.
Corbin Ambrose, I think that's for us.
Exactly. Yeah. Every match has a different audience. If you notice, strategically, now the WWE Championship match for SmackDown is a match for us. Most people that are part-timers watching wrestling don't care who the champion is. They want to see The Rock. They want to see Stone Cold. They want to see Triple H. They don't need those people to have a championship. That's why we complain about The Rock being champion, because it made no sense.
I mean, the great thing about the whole 2 title system is, you know what? We do have Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg. Once again, match not for us. But we also get a WWE Championship match of Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton. A match totally for us that's had a year-long build. And even the Goldberg-Brock Lesnar thing, even though that's the casual fan thing, that's had a build to it too. And we get Jericho versus Owens, another match for us. There's plenty of stuff to appreciate, and we just kind of have to understand what WrestleMania has become, and then take take note that SummerSlam is more of the smarky show that is built for wrestling fans.
Yeah, I think that's where for a lot of WrestleManias, people are always really excited at the beginning, but then slowly they get out because they have to realize, like, you're watching. It's like you're watching
It's
many
also
movies
7
in one
hours
night.
long.
Exactly. No, you get exhausted. So we got to have that. We got to have that battle plan happening very, very soon. But the last match we want to quickly get to here is Baron Corbin, the man that just tried to murder Dean Ambrose on SmackDown. I'm pretty sure you would get arrested for attempted murder. Don't quote
There's a
me
lot
on
of
that.
attempted murder going on. Well,
House is
Ray may
burning
or may
down.
not have murdered somebody in that house, the cameraman.
Arson at best.
Arson at the least. And then we have attempted murder the next week on SmackDown. Do we need
People talk about PG product.
police on scene all the time going forward?
I don't know, man, but we got to be careful with this. But it seems, based on what's happening, Dean Ambrose could actually get a decent one-on-one match at WrestleMania. I'm looking forward to this. I really do think that they have a potential to basically right the wrongs that was Brock Lesnar versus Dean Ambrose. We expected so much. That was the match we wanted to see the most last year.
We expected
were so disheartened.
Bret Hart versus Stone Cold, and we got
Melina
nothing.
versus Alicia Fox or something like that.
Alicia
sort of
Fox.
But no, I've said it for a couple of weeks where this is probably the match that I'm most looking forward to going into WrestleMania, potentially, because like Juan said, there is room for them to right those wrongs, but I'm also ready to be extremely disappointed if that doesn't happen. This match probably of any other match has the highest bar to hit because we're all ready to be hurt again. But I hope in my heart it doesn't happen.
They just gotta throw some stank on it. They gotta put a stip. We need a stipulation. I think that's the key thing. We want like a street fight, falls count anywhere, any type of no DQ situation. And
maybe
then
we'll get the Ambrose Asylum match.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
We
Like
just
a
need
Clockwork
carnage.
Orange House of Fun match going on. That could be crazy.
It's kind of what the Asylum match was.
Well, talking about hardcore matches, we are going to be going to WrestleMania weekend, and it's not all going to be WWE.
I'm sad I'm
going to
miss this one.
Yes, man. We saw this morning. Shout out to True Prince of Pro and a couple of people that gave us this information. And WWE shows are secondary to what's going to be happening at WrestlePro. This is Thursday night. Keith and I are going to be there. I'm not kidding about this, okay? I need you guys to get prepared for this. Colt Cabana versus Ryback in a CM Punk action figure on a pole match. This is happening. This is real.
I'm so
this is
jealous.
Straight edge.
You know, I take what I just said back, where never mind Ambrose and Corbin. This is the match that has potential to right the wrong of Ambrose Lesnar from last year. It could be a massacre. What are they going to do to each other to get that action figure? A CM Punk action figure of all things. Ryback, Colt Cabana. Someone might get called a stupid idiot.
This really is the experience. Like we just talked about.
Or was it
matches of
dumbass?
Dumb as F.
Yeah, dumb
Right,
as F.
dumb as F. Right. Thank you.
Dumb AF.
Yeah.
But like we just mentioned a couple of minutes ago that some matches at WrestleMania are not for you. Okay, we realize that a lot of people unfortunately don't have the experience to travel to something like WrestleMania, SummerSlam. It's super expensive, right? Plus people that live across the world that are really far. Whenever that it is that you get to see a WrestleMania or SummerSlam, because these are the only real two shows that apply, there is so much wrestling happening, not WWE. Like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday morning. All of these days are going to have Ring of Honor shows, WrestlePro, WrestleCon. So many things happening that there's going to be something for you. Especially with a lot of former WWE people that may be showing up at 205 Live or NXT eventually. We gotta take pictures of this when we're there. CM Punk action figure on a freaking. Okay. You know how you make this better? You put Vince Russo as the referee. Vince freaking Russo is the referee I'm sold.
It's almost magical at that point. And I'll be the first to admit that I
Judy
don't
Bagwell
really
as timekeeper.
Oh, that'd be great. I don't really or like indulge in indie wrestling all that much. I'll kind of dip my toes into the pond every now and then and see what's going on. But this match, and I may get a little flack for this match basically explains exactly why I both love and hate indie wrestling all at the same time.
You can't hate that. It's not an option.
I can a little bit.
Oh, come on.
The ridiculousness of it. I mean, that's kind of what's great about
I kind of love the
indies.
ridiculousness of it, but I kind of hate it at the exact same time.
I'll never forget a meme that I just love that it might have even been Generico who was doing it, but it was just a picture and it said, "Meanwhile in the Indies." And this guy had a camel clutch in on this guy. And while he was applying the camel clutch, he was reading a newspaper. It was
exactly.
That was
my point
fantastic.
exactly.
So good.
Yeah.
I love it and hate
I would
it.
pop like hell for that.
Chuck Taylor. Just look up Chuck Taylor. Hand grenade. Explosions. Chikara. Just pointless, awesome, independent wrestling stuff. So, folks, the time has come. Every single week, you bring us awesome questions. ByteThatCast@gmail.com. Twitter, ByteThatCast. Use the hashtag AskBT. You can ask us about wrestling, about life, about video games, about Byte That. You can ask Keith stuff. So, Keith?
You can. Yes.
You got stuff? You got the stuff.
Oh, I got stuff.
You got the
You
stuff.
can call me Buff, because I got the stuff, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Much like our first question from Heartfelt Matt, who asks, the New Day have made cereal and seem to be making an ice cream bar. I want to know, what other food would you like to see the New Day make? So the New Day, this is just New Day brand. Like Big E's not at the ice cream churner being like, oh, we need vanilla, baby. Or is,
Are we going with savory or are we going with sweet?
You can pick whatever you want, and I'm
Whatever
going
you
to
want, baby
definitely
girl.
go with like a crackers, like something like Cheez-Its or Goldfish. I know where you got. I wasn't going there. All right? I don't know what else to call them. Snack crackers. Okay. I don't know
We
what
get
they
you,
would
man.
call
Keith is the one with the
booty
dirty
crack.
mind.
Can we call him booty crack?
Oh my god.
I hate you.
I don't know if mine is just as bad or worse, but Alfredo pasta. Just because, like, Big E is a horny wrestler. He is the horniest guy in that roster. And I'm just picturing him like, I'm going to pour some Alfredo sauce all over your face. Just something like that.
Aw, man.
But what would you call it?
Worst Big E impersonation ever. Big E's
Oh.
Big E's white sauce. I don't know what to call it right now, man.
You could have went so many directions with that. Like, gotta get those carbs, baby. But you went that one.
Yep.
I don't feel good about it.
No regrets
I don't feel
at all.
I don't feel good about this anymore.
What about you, though?
I don't know anymore.
I would just most like the
anymore.
New Day to do relevant things again. Forget the food. Just do something.
They have cereal, they have ice cream. Why not some sort of drink? Like, have a nice orange juice to go with
Booty
your cereal.
pop.
Yeah.
No, banana juice. Banana juice.
Yeah, okay.
Get it?
Booty pop.
Get it. You're no fun, Keith.
So thank you for the question. Our next question comes from TMK Tanner with a follow-up from his question last week, where he mentioned that he'll be attending next week's Smackdown. And Tanner asks, should I stay for 205 live next week? Or should I go wait outside the arena and propose to Alexa Bliss?
See, I think we need to take
What
this
should
one
Tanner
step
do?
further. Not just answer, because of course the answer is Alexa Bliss, but how do you propose?
See, I'm Mr. Negative today. I don't think proposing's the answer. Because Alexa Bliss is engaged, isn't she?
Yeah, to Murphy.
Like, real talk? Yeah, right?
So
Okay.
right out of
So
it,
we're gonna get super serious here for a second. You don't do that to an engaged woman. You don't do that to somebody that has already made that commitment. That is both disrespectful and rude to both. That is to Blake Murphy. That's insulting to Murphy. I mean, take that for how you
Murphy.
will.
You even changed
Buddy
his
Murphy.
name. Buddy Murphy.
Okay.
They're
Buddy
like
Murphy.
the
I'm
same
sorry.
person.
I'm sorry, buddy. But the point still stands where, I don't know. You don't do that to people that are taken. You see someone with a ring on their finger at a bar. You don't go hit on them. It's rude. It's disrespectful.
Yeah.
So why
what
would
would
you do
Chad
that to
and
somebody
Gable
outside
think of
of
that?
Yeah, at least
I don't
make
thi-
sure to get their name right.
Chad and Gable would not approve of this. So Tanner, my friend, you do the right thing. You stay for 205 Live. You look at Austin Aries' package instead of doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Propose to the package.
I sadly have
Yes.
to agree with Keith on this one. I'm just thinking, first of all, maybe we're getting too logical here, and maybe you were just asking a fun question and we're being like super serious about it. But just based on pros and cons, 205 Live, pros, you don't have to move from where you are, and you get to enjoy a good wrestling show.
And Austin Aries' package.
Cons, you miss out on Alexa Bliss potentially saying yes. Cons, you also miss out on potentially running into another SmackDown superstar who happens to be outside the arena.
Or Blake
So
Murphy.
now for the Alexa Bliss side, pros, if she says yes, then that's pretty sweet. Other pros, like I said, you might see other people out there. Cons, she may not even be out there. You may not be able to find her. Other cons, Blake Murphy or Buddy Murphy go and kick your ass.
Oh, badly.
The last con, Rob Conway. So bad.
So thank you for the question. Our next one comes in from Kane Yo-Yo, who asks, who would win versus Kevin Owens' kid in a match between Kevin Owens' kid and
going
Bill
on for
Goldberg's kid? This is
the
I've
best
lost all
question.
control. I've lost all control of this
Answer,
show.
Roman Reigns. He comes in and just Superman punches both of them.
Roman Reigns always goes over.
Real
Yeah.
talk, Kevin Owens' kid won a wrestling match at 1 year old. When he was like 1 year
He's
old.
got the experience then.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's 1-0, man. When he was 1.
All right,
So not bad.
I got Kevin Owens' kids back then. I'd take him.
That being said, Goldberg's
know.
kids can probably wrestle longer than the dad can.
And he's been inside a WWE ring.
True.
That might count as experience.
Damn.
It's fair.
If you have your shirt off and you're in a WWE ring, are you technically a wrestler? You know?
Does that mean Kevin Owens isn't a wrestler?
Oh, man.
We will ponder that. So thank you for the question. Our next one comes in from Benjamin R., who asks, hey guys, what's up? I'm a big fan of ladder matches, and with WrestleMania approaching, I wondered if there would be another ladder match in this year's WrestleMania. In the last two WrestleManias, there have been ladder matches for the Intercontinental title, but because Dean Ambrose is in a feud with Baron Corbin, it's unlikely that there will be an Intercontinental Championship ladder match this year. Do you want to see a ladder match at WrestleMania? And if so, what title should be on the line and who should be in this match?
First of all, what's up just randomly reminded me, where the hell is R-Truth been? Okay, now on to the actual question. I don't want to see a ladder match this year. I want to see a one-on-one match for the Cruiserweight title, which I think would be the most likely one to have a ladder match if it was going to be anything. IC title looks like it's locked up in a feud with Ambrose and Corbin, and I think that's great. It's been so long, I feel like, since it was like maybe Cody Rhodes versus The Big Show, the last singles IC title match we got at a WrestleMania, most likely. So I think it's time that we went to the singles matches. The Andre the Giant Battle Royal's there when you need to throw in a bunch of multi-man people. We've just done the ladder match a lot recently, and I would be totally cool if they took a break from it for a year.
I personally love the ladder match, and as Ryan just said, if you were to have one, I do think that this is the match to do it with, like Austin Aries versus Neville, because we have so many multi-person matches between the Battle Royal, the 2 women's matches. It's getting up there. So you add yet another multi-man match. I just don't think it makes any sense. You need a little breathing room. I know you want everybody to get that WrestleMania paycheck, but one-on-one matches, I kind of like them, especially ladder matches, which lately are just the multi-person spot fest match. I want a good old-fashioned one-on-one ladder match.
Yeah, I'm in the book that I don't want to see a ladder match this year because, like we mentioned, that Dean Ambrose versus I was about to say Braun Strowman, Dean Ambrose versus Baron Corbin is probably going to be the Intercontinental title feud. We have Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho for the U.S. Championship. So if there's going to be a ladder match, it'll probably be the Cruiserweight Championship. I do not want to see that match. I would much rather see Neville versus Austin Aries. So just by that, I don't want there to be a ladder match. Maybe if there is going to be something, maybe something along the lines of like for the number 1 contendership for the Cruiserweight Championship, have that as a multi-person ladder match. But beyond that, I don't really want to see it. And I think there is room for the ladder match to take a break because it's almost kind of going the way of the Hell in a Cell where it's just becoming formulaic every year. It's not a good thing. One's laughing, and I'm not 100% sure why. So thank you for the question. Okay, that's fair. So our final question of the show comes from Cynical Justin, who asks, if you hold the United States, if you hold the United States and Intercontinental titles simultaneously, does that technically make you a world champ? It's an interesting question.
He's technically right.
All right, what is the exact definition of intercontinental? It's other...
like multiple continents.
Multiple
right?
continents.
Like even the U.S. champion, if you go to Germany or if you go to Glasgow or some other place, which maybe I may forget, like...
related
can you even
to
defend it?
Traveling between continents. Okay.
Okay.
Continue.
But
that
then what
was
about
the definition. That was the definition.
Then, as I was saying, like, okay, so you justified that part, but when you're the U.S. champion, if you travel to, like, Italy, does that even make sense? Or is it that you have to win it in the U.S. and then do that? Like, I know we're overly thinking this question, but it's true. Like, my biggest problem with this question is, or not the question, but what the question brings up is that these names mean nothing. Like WWE champion, I get that. Women's champion, I get that. Tag team champion,
we had a European title. What the hell did that mean?
Exactly. It's like initially it made sense, but then a lot of people started just calling themselves the champion of Europe, like with Christian and all that. But you're not actually European, so why is this a thing? I would actually not be opposed to having new championships that are like the thing is, what the hell? We already got the Universal and the World titles, so what the hell? What would it be called? I don't know, man.
What are those new planets called again?
Do they have names? We call it the seven. Seven.
I mean, they could technically
championship?
call themselves the global champion, right? If it's between all the continents and the United States. But for the inauguration of this combination of championships, you have to defend it in Antarctica.
It's true. And I mean, there is a wrench thrown into this with the introduction of the United Kingdom Championship. So you would need to hold that as well in order to be a true world champion.
There's a wrench in that plan. I like it.
Yeah, definitely, man. So I think we actually got time for like one more question.
All right. Do you want to take this?
Okay, so let's look over here.
Nice passive-aggressive baton pass by Keith Poshik.
Yeah, maybe I called this the final question, but I guess not.
Okay, let me do my Keith Poshik here. And the final question of the show comes from Tiba29. And he asks, Strowman lost clean at Fastlane. Do you guys think he will be the next Rusev? No, we didn't even get to Rusev. Rusev got destroyed by Big Show. Destroyed. And there's
Feels
like
bad,
this rumor.
Man.
Yeah, there's like a rumor that it was because he got the haircut. Of course, it's just a rumor, but man, Talk about a haircut ruining your like the next Frankie
But not
Kazarian.
only-
Talk about a bad haircut.
Yeah. Oh.
Not only destroyed by the Big Show, but he was also temporarily hindered by Jinder.
It's true.
Oh my God. That is very, very true. But do you guys see like a dim future for Strowman? I know that we're maybe jumping the shark, but this literally did happen with Rusev. Like the same way we're talking with Strowman, we talked about Rusev. And then, yeah.
Yeah, it's all about the monster aura is starting to fade, and that might be a concern. It's still way too soon. I think that they've really got something here with Strowman, more so than I think we ever thought a year and a half ago. And it would be really unwise for them to ruin that. And so far, like the Roman winning, I don't think was that huge of a misstep. But like we said earlier, when you couple that with him backing away from the Undertaker, that's when it starts to raise flags. I want to believe that it's not going to go that way, but it would not surprise me. Let's hope that Strowman doesn't go into that jokey character phase that seems to happen to every single big guy. But we'll see.
If you asked me right after Fastlane, my answer would be no. But after what happened on Raw, I'm feeling a little less hopeful about the aura that Braun Strowman has, because it just wasn't good. I do think that it's still a little early, because, I mean, if Strowman just goes back to wrecking people, we'll forget about the whole Roman Reigns things in a couple of months, especially if he goes on, like we mentioned earlier, to win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. It'll still help, because whether we like it or not, in the echelon of WWE, Roman Reigns is still, like, if there's somebody that's going to beat you, he's up on that level as far as Raw goes. Like, he's at the same point as John Cena, which I guess kind of didn't help Rusev if we're going by the comparison case. But I do think with Braun Strowman, it's salvageable. They just need to never do what they did on Raw ever again.
Just never do it.
That was so bad. Oh, it makes it... Not a lot actually, like, infuriates me when it comes to wrestling. I can look at something and be like, oh, that's really dumb, but whatever, I guess. That straight up made me angry with Braun Strowman. It triggered me. It's like Juan's dumb impression. It just made me angry.
I guess that means we got ourselves a couple haters. Couple haters. You got a couple haters. I'm just saying. Nia Jax lost her match at Fastlane. Is not doing too great. Braun Strowman lost his match at Fastlane. Not doing too good. We could be seeing a couple. Oh my God. It could actually happen. I could totally see this becoming a reality. But thanks everybody for all of the awesome questions. Remember, we are on the road to WrestleMania. So now I'm going to take it over to Mr. McNulty with the Byte That weekly update.
A lot of things on the weekly update plate this week to wrap up before we get out of here. And I'm losing my voice. I get a swig of water for the working man.
Meanwhile, let's just think about happy thoughts. Flowers. I had myself an apple fritter donut. It was delicious with some coffee.
I watched a 7-minute video earlier on goat fails. It's just like
God.
goats doing
Is it
dumb
sad?
things.
I saw that before the show. Really? Wow.
It's a hell of a video.
Man, right? They're so annoying.
Oh, goats are the best. Okay, real talk. I went to the zoo last week.
I love this.
It makes me so happy. Like, I honestly probably spent a solid half an hour of my life laughing at camels because they look so freaking dumb. Just the dopiest look on their face. I was just looking at them making voices like, oh, hey, how's it going? And just probably looked like a crazy person. But
yeah.
man,
were you there by yourself? Just
no, I was
making
there with
voices
somebody.
for animals?
No. I was at least there with another human being. But animals are so dumb, and it's so great, and goats are the worst / best of them, and goats.
So anyway, the Byte That weekly update. The Byte That weekly update. As we mentioned last week, we got our big WrestleMania stream happening March 25th. We're going to be playing tons of wrestling games, and recreating some of the matches on the WrestleMania card through different games. We might do some of them in No Mercy. We might do some of them in 2K14. We're going to switch it up, try and get through as many games as possible. And there's also something very special going on during this stream as well that I'm going to let Juan explain because he's messing with me with his little goat impressions.
Nice. People just keep taking it over to me. So, WrestleMania week is going to be a hectic thing because we are going to be traveling. Ryan's going to be going to Florida like earlier before us. So we can't guarantee that on WrestleMania week we can do all of the show. So then Mr. Poshik brought up, why don't we just do the podcast? So we're actually going to be doing a portion of the podcast for that week during the Twitch stream over at twitch.tv/byte that we're going to be doing the community portion, just talking about things that we were looking forward to during WrestleMania weekend, just hanging out with you guys. So basically like a live Q&A. And this is going to go up to the actual podcast feed. This is not a YouTube secondary thing. This is all part of the actual podcast because the other portion will be recorded later in the week.
So are you saying a live podcast?
Oh my God. Wait.
Okay. What? If everyone just left at that point. That was the worst SpongeBob laugh thing ever. Yeah. So
I was
portion
doing a
of the podcast is going to be live.
Is gone.
That's March 25th. We'll have a start date and details very soon. So keep an eye out for that. So moving on with the weekly updates. As I mentioned before, if you want to check out my full thoughts on WWE Fastlane, that's up on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/bytethatcast. Subscribe if you have not yet. This coming weekend, our newest video, which is up now, early access for patrons, is Debate That, which is a new video that we're doing.
We become master debaters.
Yes, we become master debaters as one presents a topic as moderator and me and Keith debate. So if you enjoyed our year-end awards, particularly the Breakout Star episode, well, it's more of that, and that's why it's Debate That. And the topic that we debate is inside wrestling terms. Should fans be using them? Are they overused? And we discussed that. If you want to help out the show, one way you can do that is subscribe on your podcast app or YouTube, and also leave a 5-star review on whatever platform you happen to be listening to us on. If you're listening on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. That helps a lot. iTunes 5-star reviews. I believe you can rate on Stitcher and other podcast apps as well. And if you want to go the extra mile, you want to help out the Byte That podcast, directly support us, you can go over to patreon.com/bytethat. For as little as $1, you get access to cool things, including a raw and uncut video version of the podcast, where if you had access to that right now, you could see Juan laughing like a moron, and you'd be able to enjoy that. And any type of donation, including just going to bytethat.com and donating, gets you a shout out in your name on our thank you section of our webpage forever. Botchamania fans will understand that. So I think we're gonna get out of here because I'm about to punch these two guys if I could. So I'm gonna save that for WrestleMania time. Thank you guys for listening. WrestleMania just a couple weeks away. We'll see you next week.